Welcome to another video from DIY Daily. We've got a 2014 Ford Transit in today, 2.2 diesel engine. It's got nearly 84,000 miles on the clock. It's got some issues, poor starting, sometimes it don't crank up very well, and it's also having a few power issues down the road. It's a bit intermittent, sometimes the power's a bit limited, sometimes it's going alright. We're going to look into it, and the first thing we've done is plug the diagnostic machine in. We're using the snap-on machine today, and we've got a fault code P0184, which is relating to the fuel temperature sensor circuit there. Just before we get into the video, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, if you just click on the red subscribe button below to make sure you don't miss out on any future content. But we're going to check a few bits first and go from there. They do have, it's quite a common issue on these transits that don't normally log a fault code, where the actual fuel temperature sensor in the fuel pump does play up. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually go into the actual data and just check what the actual fuel temperature is reading. Quite a lot of options on these transits. So we've got the actual fuel temperature reading here, and this is the temperature reading for the sensor in the pump. It is actually reading somewhat like I'd expect about it, minute, because it has not long come back from a drive. Maybe not quite as high as that, but sometimes I've had these where they're not logging a fault and they're actually showing 99 degrees. And if you disconnect them, they run to a default of 40 degrees, which will allow them to rev. And what we'll do now is we'll clear the code out and give it a quick run and just see if it flags the code straight back up. So we'll just clear the code out and go from there. Just check, make sure I can come straight back in before we give it a run. Right, so that's cleared the code. We'll give it a quick run now and see if that code comes back into it. I've just got back from road test. It hasn't logged the fuel temperature code back in it. I've just been monitoring the fuel temperature while driving, and it's sitting pretty sort of persistent at about 45 degrees there. So what we're going to do now, this is a bit of an intermittent fault with it, so I'm just going to leave the engine to go cold. Probably going to leave it for a couple of 3 hours now, and we'll come back and see what the temperature's reading once it's gone cold, and go from there. Right, so we got a bit busy yesterday and the van's actually been left overnight now. So we've come to it in the morning now, stone cold, and you can see on there the fuel temperature is actually reading 40 degrees, fluctuating between 40 and 42, so it's definitely well out and shouldn't be that high at the minute. So I did order a temperature sensor. It's quite a common issue and I've had quite a few troubles with them in the past. If you check in the description below, I've put links to the part number and where you can get them from. But we'll just go under the bonnet now and I'll show you where it's located and how to replace it. It's quite straightforward to swap. You can only get them from Ford at the minute, but yeah, I've put the part number in the description below. So but let's show you where it's fitted and swap it over and go from there. So we've got the bonnet up now. If you just come down, this is the fuel pump here. There's just a little bit of loom on the side there. If you disconnect that, just get it out of the way. Now this little sensor here this is the actual fuel temperature sensor, so it fits into the fuel pump. All you need to do is just flip the little tab up there, and take the connector off for it, and then we've just got a little Torx screw just holding that in there, so I'll just get that out quick. So to remove the little bolt there, you just want a Torx 30, I think it is. Yeah, Torx 30 socket there. And get that on there. And that bolt there, you can see they do sometimes go a little bit scabby, but it'll come out alright. So once you've got the bolt out there, you can just work the actual sensor out. Just give it a little bit of a twist just to release it. So sometimes just get a little bit tight and just lose a little bit of fuel while you do it, but this is a temperature sensor there. Yeah, we'll get the new one in and have a look at the readings. That should alter that now. So they can sometimes give starting issues, and what it does, it thinks that the fuel's hotter than it is. They don't quite fuel it right when it's cold, so we'll get that swapped over and show you the readings. Right, so the new part's all fitted now. I've just got back in the vehicle and just code read it again. Because the ignition's been on at some point while the sensor was disconnected, it has just logged a fresh code, a different code this time though, with a temp sensor, but that is just purely due to it being disconnected. So we can just clear that code now, and if we go into the actual data, we'll see what the fuel temp's reading now. That's the modus edge we're using today. There we go, you can see the fuel we're on the fuel temperature there now. A lot more realistic reading. It's stone cold, it's been stood overnight in the workshop, and it's reading 15 degrees. A lot more accurate. It was reading 40 degrees last time from stone cold. So all we're going to do now, I'll just go give it a road test, just make sure it all reads properly, make sure it's starting all right now, and it should have cured the running issue as well. So I'll just give it a quick spin and let you know the outcome. And yeah, if you check the links in the description below, there is a link to the part number as well. So, but really common issue on these later style 2.2 transits. I've fitted 2 or 3 of them now, and sometimes they don't actually come up with a fault code, but it's also always worth just actually going in the actual data and checking the fuel temperature reading. So if it might be misleading if it hadn't actually logged a fault code. So but we'll give it a quick run and let you know the outcome. Right, so just got back from a 20-mile road test. Van run spot on. I've just checked the codes, there's no codes come back. I checked the fuel temperature while driving. Everything was looking as it should do. Managed to get it up to about 27 degrees, so it's a lot more realistic now. It was causing some intermittent starting issues, which it struck straight up first time, but I mean, I'm not 100% sure for that in the morning again, but it definitely does cause some starting issues when it's reading the wrong temperature, so hopefully that's sorted that as well now. Here's the old sensor here. That's the culprit, just a simple probe sensor really there, but yeah, I've put the link in the description below to it as well. So but say not all the time, they don't always flag a fault code up or a warning on the dash. So it's always worth, if you're having some issues, just checking the actual data and see if you can actually read the fuel temperature. So but yeah, thought I'd share the video with you all. Hope it helped. If it did, give it a quick thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.